Look, we won 2 Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill. Well, the Chiefs went ahead and can just win without Tyreek Hill. Yeah, it'd be a lot easier having Tyreek Hill on the goddamn offense. That would make things a hell of a lot easier for Patrick Mahomes, a guy he already knows how to play football with.
I also don't want to alarm any of those people, but in 2022, they had an offense where Mahomes threw for 5,200 yards. And then in 2023, had the best defense they maybe ever had since the 69 team. I don't want to overstep based off one game. I don't think they're going to have the best defense that they've had in like 55 years with this current group.
They don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
I don't want to shock anybody or scare anybody. The Dolphins are not good.
No, they suck.
Whoa.
Mamma mia!
And that does lead to an interesting question. If they're 0-3, is Tyreek Hill getting traded? And if he's getting traded, are the Chiefs making a very, 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 very serious phone call to Miami?
I think if you're the Chiefs, you have to, especially if with the Xavier Worthy injury. Look, I know it was reported on Sunday that Xavier Worthy is going to try to brace it up, and
yeah, but it was also reported by the same person that it basically was reported as like he could be out for 2 weeks. He could maybe be back in 2028.
It was very much a report of like he could be fine, or we could all die tomorrow.
He's injured, and it's somewhere between a paper cut and an amputation.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks.
And we'll get back to you with more details. Great, thank you.
Obviously, with his injury, and obviously if he plays with the brace, like the relocation risk is like high, and which is not great. So it's like at that point, depending on the severity, it's like, would you just rather him have surgery? Then you're down to like Jason Brownlee actually playing real snaps instead of just the most important snap of the game.
I was just saying, instead it's just the critical snap. Yeah.
Right.
Great. Good, really good job there by the Chiefs to make sure he got out there at time.
I was truthfully was encouraged by Tyquan Thornton on my second walkthrough watching that game. I thought he did some good stuff. He's like, it's funny, Matt, he might actually be like the one wide receiver UDFA, or not necessarily UDFA, but like additional futures contract wide receiver that the Chiefs have had that might actually legit give them something. And he maybe had the least training camp buzz around him. I mean, we got Justin Ross hype all over the place. There's no Tyquan Thornton fan accounts out here. I need to up the number of Tyquan Thornton fan accounts. I gotta have the hype. But to your point, Matt, before I got sidetracked from Tyquan Thornton fan accounts, I do think that like for the Chiefs, you got to be looking around and thinking, man, we got to do something. And I tweeted this out on Sunday because somebody kind of asked me like, hey, during the Dolphins game, it's like, hey, like vibe's not great there, and I said, yeah, they're right. I was like, the vibes, truthfully, around like the Chiefs right now, what it feels to me are pretty similar to how it was before they brought in DeAndre Hopkins. Of like, hey, we got to make a move. Like, it was a little bit later on in the season, right, when this happened, when they made that trade, but it was like, right, and they were also.
It still felt like they were like teetering on oblivion. Yes, but
correct, and like that's the thing is that like they looked around the room and they're like, boy, like we kind of need to add another body here that can play some real snaps and actually play NFL football, not just like Nico Remigio. Unfair shot to Nico Remigio right there, but he doesn't really play wide receiver. He is a return man. He's on the roster to return punts. And like that's the thing. It's like they got to start looking around and be like, man, we need some actual dudes that can catch a football and get open and make Patrick Mahomes feel comfortable because nobody gets fucking open.
Yeah, listen.
Let me get fired up again, Matt.
I really believe, like, I know it's not like a fan thing to be like, oh, they should, like, if I'm Brett Beach, I'm calling them up, being like, look,
I think you have to, man.
You guys stink. I'd say flat out, you guys fucking suck. Okay, we need a receiver in the worst way. Tyreek Hill has been basically tweeting out like fan fiction, like and like on Instagram for months about the Chiefs. And here's the deal. Like, here's like all kidding aside, here's the reality. Tyreek Hill is going to get moved if this team stinks. There's no reason in the world for them to keep him. He's got a contract for next year, but like his contract is ridiculous for next year. There's no way in hell they're going to keep this guy in the team next season. In fact, here you go. So next year, his cap number is $52 million. Okay. Like the Dolphins aren't exactly taking on that hit. So he's going to be gone. There's no way in hell he's going back there.
Yeah.
So
he hates everybody.
Yeah, and if you're Miami and you stink, like, what is the point? You might as well trade him and get something for the guy. If I were Brett Beach, I'd call them up, be like, look, you know you're dealing him. We know you're dealing him. We'll take on the prorated salary. His base salary is $10 million this year. Okay. We'll take it on. We'll restructure some contract on the team to get it under the cap.
Yeah.
We will give you a 4th-round pick for him. And if they sit there and really haggle, it's like, oh, it's got to be a 3rd. Like, fine. Do one of those deals where it's like you give them a 3rd and they give you like a 7th back or something. And like, say whatever you want about Tyreek Hill. That dude is really durable, and he is an electrifying talent. Like, even at 31 years old, and I know last year he didn't have 1,000 yards. He played with you and me at quarterback last year, and had 959 yards with nobody. Tyler Huntley was throwing the ball. I mean, that team was
good
ridiculous.
Lord.
Okay, if I'm Kansas City, like, I'm not waiting around. Like, oh, because by the way, the flip side of that is also, if they get lucky and they actually have a full receiving room healthy down the stretch, that room is a fucking
insane
horror show for an opponent. Like, here comes Tyreek Hill and Xavier Worthy outside with Rice in the slot. Good luck. I mean, Mahomes, they're gonna have to try to get Mahomes. They're gonna be sobbing uncontrollably in the locker room for the game. Like, can you imagine with what you just saw defensively out of Buffalo and Baltimore? That team rolling into town. I don't care where that game's played.
Right.
Mahomes big, yo, guys, we're scoring 50 tonight. Like, if anybody can force one punt, we win. I mean, to me, I think you are almost compelled to make that trade. I very rarely am on the side of like, you need to do something. If they lose to Philadelphia this weekend, and you're sitting at 0-2, and you've got Tyquan Thornton and Juju Smith-Schuster playing, 90% of the snaps offensively, which, by the way, they played 80 and 72% respectively in game 1.
Wow.
Like, bro, you got to do something. And also, too, you are really running on a razor's edge right now. Juju's hurt all the time. Tyquan Thornton's been hurt all the time. Hollywood Brown gets out of bed and gets hurt. Like, those are your top 3 receivers right now. Like, you are like a hamstring pull away from like, well, let's hope that Brownlee's got something. Like, good Lord. You're going to tell me if they could call the Dolphins right now. You're telling me the Dolphins would be, no, he's untouchable?
They'd love to move that cap number.
The Dolphins would be like, would you take Tua? We'll throw in first.
We can throw something in.
We'll do anything. Please. Yeah.
So here's the thing, is I know that, we rightfully railed on the defense on the last episode right after the game got done, and we got into it of like, hey, like, no help is on the way. There's nothing coming for the defense. So you might be thinking, you might be listening to the podcast and be like, you guys were just upset about the defense. Why don't you want them to add to the defense? Here's the thing. If they trade for somebody on the defense, who knows if Steve Spagnuolo is even going to play him, right? Because that happened with Josh Uche. That happened with Josh Uche is the only one coming to my head right now. But anyway, that's what is so Spags loyal to a fault. We talked about that with his guys. He's going to play his guys. We talked about that on Saturday's podcast. If they make this trade and they bolster their wide receiver room, Tyreek Hill's going to play. Like, he knows the system. He knows the offense. Arguably, the offense was a little bit more complex when he was here, I think. I think they've kind of watered it down a little bit. But that's the thing, is like I think that will have more impact than a defensive acquisition would, because he would play. Like, he would be in the rotation. He would kind of help them right the ship for this first 6 games at least before Rashee Rice gets back. And then I think you have to do something. I don't think the Chiefs can sit on their ass here. And that's the problem, is like, I think they can't sit on their ass, but I know that, like, hey, maybe the Dolphins are still trying to keep the facade that they're going to be a competitive football team or a team that likes each other. Mike McDaniel is probably going to be fired as well. Like, we're probably looking at a whole retooling down there in Miami. And I think if the Chiefs can kind of get aboard on the estate sale going on down there, and where's that stadium at?
Miami Gardens.
Miami Gardens. I almost said Coral Gables, but I was like, no, Miami plays at Miami. They play at Hard Rock, right? The University of Miami, the U, and they have to drive like an hour and a half to get to their home stadium. It's insane.